thing that makes you stand out at council meetings. In fact, I'm going to put one of them on right now. Okay, who's playing the bagpipe?
That's upstairs.
You're kidding me. Oh, the bagpipers. I forgot about the bagpipers practicing here. They practice here every Thursday night. There's like 14 of them up there. So we're going to have to yell over the bagpipes. So the green scarves are important for some of us because we have buttons tonight. We have buttons that are, think of this as like a Girl Scout scarf, Boy Scout scarf. And we have merit badges. So we have merit badges for extraordinary service for Greenways, and we're going to be talking about people who are going to get merit badges tonight. So a lot of you, most of you, are going to get the volunteer merit badge. And we've got corps members, advocates, various things. So we'll talk about the different buttons, but we'll be handing them out during this presentation. But I also wanted to talk about what we've been doing over the past 2 years, 2.5 years that Seattle Neighborhood Greenways has existed. So we started with just 3 groups. Last year somebody just asked me how many groups we had. We had about 13, 14 groups. Now we have 23 local Greenways groups. And not only is it an amazing community organization, but we've really changed the conversation in Seattle about how people think of streets. How we think of streets as public space, how we think of streets as places for people. And we've done some amazing things. I mean, we sort of say, oh, we don't like that greenway, we don't like this particular intersection or whatever, but we have directly influenced in the past 2 years something like, we figured about 12 to 13 million, not 12 to $13 million of city funding in Seattle directly because of things that Seattle Neighborhood Greenways groups have asked for. I mean, just think about that. That's huge. And we continue to grow. I mean, Gordon in the last couple of weeks has talked to groups in Crown Hill, in First Hill, in Licton Springs. I mean, there's like lots of different groups that are, as they're seeing this kind of success, are saying, we want this too. We want this kind of community movement to happen in our streets. We want to reclaim these streets as safe places for people. So, the other thing that I wanted to mention too is that we've been very focused for the last year and a half on the Seattle Bicycle Master Plan update. And that's because, well, in part, it happened because of Greenways, because there were so many of our groups that were knocking on the door of the Department of Transportation saying, we want a greenway in our community. So the Department of Transportation said, let's, look at the Bicycle Master Plan and update it, as well as trying to get a great cycle track through downtown. So those 2 things were what drove a lot of the Bicycle Master Plan. But not only were we very influential in making sure that the plan happened, but because of the amazing work of crowdsourced mapping and the maps that we gave to the department, and I see somebody back there shaking his head, who put a lot of those lines on the map. So what the latest number that we have from the Department of Transportation is that 249 miles of greenways are proposed in the Bicycle Master Plan, and of those, 95% came from our groups. And Gordon forgot to print my notes, so I'm being kind of obnoxious and looking.
Gordon's
My wonderful staff over here.
Careful how the bagpipers come back up.
So anyway, this evening is a celebration of what we have accomplished. And, Gordon and I have spent the last week kind of pulling together some of the things that this group has done. And it's just been overwhelming. I mean, it's driven us a little crazy trying to get a handle on all of the amazing things that Greenways groups have accomplished. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that what we're doing is going beyond the Bicycle Master Plan. We're not ended with it, of course. You know, there's a lot more to be done to make streets places for people. There's not just green stormwater infrastructure, which is super important, but there's also things that we can do to make our streets lively. We've been really influenced by a group called City Repair in Portland that brings trees and art and things that, you know, benches, things that make your street part of your kind of human habitat. I mean, these are things that we can turn our streets into as real public space. Gordon has been working a lot with safe routes to parks kind of study, but we can go further with our streets. I mean, this is 27% of the land mass of Seattle is streets, and we can turn it into something that benefits us. So that's where we're headed next as a Greenway organization, and I hope you're with us on that journey as well. Yes. Well, yeah, I can mention that now, and we're going to actually talk about this a little bit later, but we had an incredible match come in, a matching grant come in this evening. Somebody has offered Seattle Neighborhood Greenways, if we raise by the end of this year, $25,000, that they'll match it. I'm completely confident that we have the capacity to raise that kind of money. I think that we're a really strong organization, and I think that we have a vision that a lot of people share around Seattle and actually beyond Seattle. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm really proud that we have that kind of organization. So quickly, as we're actually, Gordon is going to ask about this. Yes.
Yeah. So we all are a giant community and a big growing movement. Oh, sorry, my name is Gordon Godolford, and I am your neighborhood support coordinator. If you have a problem, you can now send it to me, because hopefully Kathy will be off doing more exciting visionary things. So I am here to help you knock on SDOT's door. I am here to help you figure out what plans are happening, what things are happening in your neighborhood, and how you can get involved. So come talk to me if you have any of those questions. But really quickly, we are going to go through the different neighborhoods. You know, we have 23 different neighborhoods. Not all of them are represented here, but we are just going to run through really quickly. And if you are from this neighborhood or you like this neighborhood, you can shout, you can jump, you can raise your hand, you can do whatever you would like. Leonel can get off his chair and do a jig. That would be great. So, do we have anyone from Lake City? Yes. Northeast Seattle. Northeast Seattle. University District area. University. Yeah. East Lake. Montlake. Madison Park. Lake Union area. Anywhere around Lake Union. Capitol Hill. The Central District.
Well, me too.
Yeah. Beacon Hill.
Beacon Hill!
Rainier Valley.
Woo!
Yes. West Seattle. Oh. Is there anyone who's holding out for Delridge specifically? No? Okay. We have a bunch of Delridge too. Queen Anne. No. Michael Hershenson couldn't make it tonight. Fremont.
Yes, yes,
yes. Green Lake. Yeah. All-star. Greenwood, Finneywood, whatever you want to call it. And Maple Leaf. Yes. All right. Wallingford. Ballard. And Crown Hill. And is there anyone who's from a different neighborhood I left out? No? We got all of them? That's awesome. Now that the bagpiping is continuing, Kathy is going to talk about
East Side. Mention the one.
East Side, Kirkland,
Yes.
Shoreland, Bellevue,
Federal Way.
Federal Way, starting it? Yeah. All over, beyond Seattle land.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
And we have a strip tease now. So we have some awards for people who actually aren't here this evening. but we love them anyway. The mayor's office. I just wanted to read, they're not long, but I did want to read this, that we would like to recognize Becca Deere for outstanding public service, for her assistance in bringing together Mayor Michael McGinn, the Seattle Department of Transportation, the Seattle Police Department, the media, the community, for 6 memorial walks and rides for people who walked and rode bicycles, for their families who were victims of traffic collisions in 2013. So Becca was incredibly valuable in putting together those 6 memorial walks and rides. And actually it's one of our first buttons. If you participated in one of the memorial walks and rides, Jacob just put up his hand. Andres has buttons, and you can add one of these. And it's a program we really want to continue with Neighborhood Greenways. It's been something that's really forced really great engineering changes in the city because of these memorial walks and rides. So the whole safety program is something that we really appreciate. And I'm actually going to pass around this memorial walks and rides flyer because it's nice. And then we also would like to recognize Seattle City Council for taking bold leadership towards a livable future and for their strong support of Neighborhood Greenways. I think both of those organizations have been phenomenal partners as we've been on our journey, and I expect both the Mayor's Office and Council will continue to be.
Is Sally Bagshaw here? Yeah, I don't think she's here. I think she may be holding out for the beer and wine at the after party, which you should all come to as well. But we'd be remiss without talking about Sally. Trying to acknowledge every individual who's been part of this growing movement is nearly an impossible task, but we've been completely crazy not to mention Sally Bagshaw. She's Seattle City Council member Sally Bagshaw, I should clarify. She was just re-elected in a landslide this fall, and she's been a champion of safe streets even before learning about Seattle Neighborhood Greenways. But she simply gets it. She understands intuitively and intellectually why we need safe streets, to be safe and comfortable for people of all ages and individuals and abilities, rather. And we really can't understate how important she has been for the Seattle Neighborhood Greenways movement. So thank her in her absence. I hope you all thank her. This is coming off the heels of a memorial walk in response to a horrific collision in March 2013. Seattle Neighborhood Greenways and local community groups demanded solutions. The Seattle Department of Transportation responded with a series of community meetings and effectively a road channelization plan engineered and built in less than 6 months in time for children to go back to school on Northeast 75th, Northeast Seattle. So, big thank you to Brian and John Lo Chang for the best safety project and best response.
I wanted to mention too that we're really involved with school road safety, and we're also very involved in safe routes to school. I actually wanted people to just raise their hand if they're in a school road safety or safe routes to school program. I know a couple of you went for mini grants, yeah? 1, 2, yeah. And they're really amazing. Here I am like telling you, go apply for these mini grants. Please apply for these mini grants. They're wonderful. They're a wonderful way to get your community engaged in school road safety, and it's something that the Department of Transportation is really focused on. So please, go for that. But I also wanted to acknowledge at this time family biking, and I think I've noticed some family bikers here. Some of you may have noticed them too. Who's a family biker here? And we actually have buttons for family bikers and safe routes to school, because it's a program that is really going to make our streets for everyone. If we really can encourage people to family bike and to walk and bike safely to school, it's something that's really going to encourage our community to be better. So.
Yeah, so the Bicycle Master Plan update, Kathy already talked about, I'm not going to bore you, but we just want to say thank you. There are many people who had a hand in crafting the update. Key among them were Sarah Sora, Fred Young, Kevin O'Neill, the Ped Bike staff, the Bicycle Advisory Board, and SVR. And of course, volunteer advocates made a tremendous impact. Greenway volunteers wrote over 60 pages of letters. They attended countless meetings that were tedious and boring, but important, and had a tremendous impact on the plan. So thank you for all the good work everyone has done. And I just want to mention that this plan is probably one of the best in the continent, thanks to all of your hard work. So it really did have an impact. And when we pass this plan, hopefully in the coming months, it will help lead us into a bright and family-friendly biking future. So a big thank you is in order to everyone who helped out. Thanks so much.
So for people who are really, actually, raise your hand if you helped with a letter to the bicycle master plan. I mean, half the room. Yeah. So what we have is we have spoke cards for you. And the spoke cards, you get a choice of them. One says, I love the Seattle Bicycle Master Plan, and the other one says, I survived the Seattle Bicycle Master Plan. So you can choose which one.
And as you probably know, the Seattle Parks Foundation is our fiscal sponsor, but they're more than that. They're also the stewards of a plan called the Bands of Green, which I know some of you also helped update. And the Bands of Green is a report which attempts to interweave our parks with safe and green corridors. The Seattle Parks Foundation has also been an important ally in the Safe Routes to Parks campaign that seeks to make parks accessible for everyone all over Seattle. So thank you especially to Becca and Betsy who were able to be here tonight, and Thatcher and everyone else at the Seattle Parks Foundation.
Okay, this next section I actually do have to have the computer in front of me because it's so many people. It's volunteers, and that's in a big, big category. The thing I wanted to mention is that we're working on so many different campaigns and so many different projects that it's hard to get a handle around them. One of the things we're doing is we got a big grant from REI to do a citywide map. So we're putting together all of our crowdsourced maps and making it a really solid citywide map that we can all use for safe access around the city. Can you just raise your hand if you're one of the people working on that citywide map? It's a really wonderful project. Yeah, thank you. And then bicycle urbanism. I actually wanted to mention that because did you know that Seattle Neighborhood Greenways members had 11 papers in the Bicycle Urbanism Symposium?
Wow.
Phenomenal number. So who actually was part of the bike? And Lauren, actually back there, was one of the organizers of the Bicycle Urbanism Symposium. So yeah, raise your hand if you had a paper in the Bike Urbanism Conference. A lot of folks here did. And with the help of Lauren, especially, we actually sponsored Seattle's first ever disaster relief trials, which was a phenomenal event that I don't know if we can ever repeat. What a wonderful thing that was. So people came up from Portland for the disaster relief trials, and they were hauling around hundreds of pounds on their bikes over, trying to recreate what an earthquake would, what you would do with your bike in an earthquake or some other kind of event. We also have a lot of kind of technical people helping us, particularly with our database. And one of the people who's been really helpful with our database is here tonight, Joey. Yes. You really help us think about our database, which in a really significant way. And Bob, of course, is the man of the hour on the database and actually kind of making it work. So thank you, Bob. The other thing that probably most of you who are in this room know tonight is that we have a core group that is people who are in Greenways who are so dedicated that they don't mind getting 20 emails through their Google group every week. I mean, there's a lot of emails that are going on all the time. So if you're a member of the core, just raise your hand. So a lot of us are core members. Thank you. So the core means that you're a leader in your own community, but that you're willing to come together and look for the greater good in the city. And there are a lot of us who are willing to do that. We have core buttons over there. You get to put, see, if you're gathering buttons, you should get another one of these so you can be a Girl, so you can be a Girl Scout. And then we have just so many people who are showing up for community events, for testifying in front of the Parks Board, in front of the City Council. We just have a lot of kind of advocacy volunteers that we're going to talk about a little bit later, but there was one volunteer in particular I wanted to call out, thank you, that we would like to recognize. Somebody who is our webmaster, who is a ride leader, and who is a general cheerleader for Greenways. She brings joy to our streets, brings children to the table, and she exemplifies the saying that if you want something done, go ask a busy person. That would be Maddie.
So this one's not going to come as any surprise for those of you who were around at the beginning of Seattle Neighborhood Greenways, because there was probably one person behind everyone saying, go faster, we can do this needs to happen, I've seen this work, I've lived in it working, I want to live in a place where this happens. And that person is Eli Goldberg. He's our most passionate volunteer award. Eli dedicated hundreds and hundreds of hours of volunteer time to plan study trips. I'm not surprised. To plan study trips for Seattle leaders to meet their counterparts in Portland in 2012 and Vancouver this past summer. Eli's hard work for safe streets, his thoughtful analysis, and his infectious smile have been critical to changing the conversation in Seattle about safe streets for all. So thank you, Eli. Big round of applause. I know we have a lot of folks from Ballard. If you're from Ballard, raise your hand. Ballard! Pop all back there. People in front. So, this is a fun award. It is the Best Greenway Party of 2013. Thanks to your Greenway opening. It was great to see. We had a conference bike, there was hopscotch, the mayor's ribbon cutting with a giant flood of kids biking by, the undriving licensed people were there, bicycle smoothies, Pinnacle Mass, spokespeople and family bikers who were over in the family room probably, and just a lot of great community building and great community fun. So thank you to Ballard Greenways for hosting the best community party of 2013. That's great.
And then we have another local Greenway award, and it's called the Gray and Green Award. And it's for outstanding action in local greenways by making your greenway system both greener and promoting safer streets. And this is going to go to Lake City Greenways. And what we have here is that you are outstanding in your fields and you are outstanding in your roads too. That's a pun. Keep going.
The plant. It'll be planted in a lovely new park.
Thank you.
So we do a lot individually as neighborhoods, but together as a coalition, neighborhood groups have been incredibly successful in advocating for what our communities need. So for this one, I'm going to mention a bunch of different amazing advocacy items people have been doing. So if you've done any of these, raise your hand and keep it up. So if you have ever testified in front of City Council in favor of increasing the budget for safe streets, if you have ever collected information for our annual priorities we send to SDOT every year, which 7/15 of those have actually gotten implement it. It's awesome. If you have ever ensured that the SR 520 highway project reconnects our communities, raise your hand, Rob. I see your, there we go. If you've ever produced our mayoral form, if you helped put that on, or if you were there as a candidate. If you ever spoke out in favor of safe routes to parks, so put your hand up, or if you love safe routes to parks. And if you've ever held a city staff or elected official accountable, or otherwise were active in our local democracy, please raise your hand and feel free to take an advocacy button. So I think almost everyone had their hands up at some point. So thank you very much. Just thanks to all our grassroots coalition and neighborhoods, we managed to achieve a tremendous lot. And I really hope everyone will continue to be civically engaged in the coming years, because we can really achieve a lot as a movement together. So thank you so much.
Almost done. One thing I didn't want to forget handing out is, actually this is a new campaign that I'm really proud of, and everybody, after tonight you're going to have to buy these. But we're going to hand these out tonight, and it says, I break for people.
Yeah!
So you're going to take them, put them on your vehicles, whatever your vehicles are, or if you don't have a big enough bike to put it on the back of a bus, put it on the back of a Hummer, find a good place to put this bumper sticker, put it on a pole that says, I break for people. So I'm going to pass these around, I brought enough for everybody to take one or two. So this is the volunteer, this is our is it our final award? It's our final award. It's called the Volunteer Wearing Out the Saddle Award. There's the saddle.
Is it actually on one?
And if you look around, there's somebody that has every button on right now. We get kind of exhausted talking about Bob. He's always taking photos, making movies, he's working at Safe Routes to School, he testifies at city council meetings, he questions authority in the friendliest way possible. He developed the scouting guide for Greenways, he was key in crowdsource mapping, and he's even more key in the citywide mapping project. He participates in memorial walks and bikes, the Madison Safety Project, Madison Greenways. This is probably not all of it. The I-520 campaign, the 23rd Avenue Corridor Project, Safe Routes to Parks. He's even on the Parks Board now. He presented the Bicycle Urbanism Symposium. He was involved in volunteering for the disaster relief trials. He's helping to develop Greenway metrics. By the way, all of these are projects that you all can get involved in if you want to. Bob is involved in all of them. It's amazing. And he brought that magical mystery pedestrian bicycle counter that he invented over there. And last but not least, Bob invented Wendy. So for our Volunteer Wearing Out the Saddle Award, Bob Edmondson. So, whenever I look, and I was looking at a lot of photos of Greenways and Greenways events as we were putting together these awards, whenever I look at the pictures of Greenways, there she is. She's at Critical Mass, spokespeople, slow rides. She goes on study trips. She comes to core meetings, at council hearings, at lectures. But she's somebody you don't notice unless you're really looking for her. But I know that Barbara Gordon is a ferocious and articulate supporter of safe streets for families, who really believes that we can become a livable city for everyone. And Barbara, where are you? There. Come here, Barbara. And Barbara is going to talk about why she is so passionate about Greenways, and I think she's going to ask you for money.
Hi. What we didn't do here tonight is thank Kathy and Gordon, so Gordon, don't walk out yet. Okay? Because what I want right now is a big, huge round of applause for these two amazing people that support. So, as Kathy mentioned, we have an anonymous donor who is matching if we can raise $25,000. And last year, I gave to Greenways because I was blown away by what Greenways was doing in this community, in this city. We're changing the face of the city. We're making it a much more friendly place to live. We need to be able to walk in this city. We need to be able to ride our bikes in the city. And it's Greenways that's making the difference. And it's Kathy's hard work and Gordon's hard work and all of you doing this work. But they're our backbone. And tonight, I want you all to think about giving. Last year I made a gift to Greenways and I want to double that gift. And I know a lot of you made a gift last year to Greenways, and I want you to think about doubling your gift. And I want you to think about making a commitment to that tonight. So I've got forms here, and I'd like to pass them around and get started right now. So anyone want to take forms? I'd like to pass these out.
I'll pass them around.
Thank you. Okay, so give big, because this is really important. And we've got $25,000 to raise. So not only tonight and from your pockets, but let's spread the word to our groups, because now's the time to do it. We have until the end of the year. Okay, thanks.
So while those are being passed around, and while you're thinking about walking the 4 blocks to Kathy's house for our after party, where there will be beer and wine, because it's not a church basement, so I hope you all walk a few blocks over there and join us at the after party. But before that, I have one final thought that I actually am paraphrasing from the City Repair movement in Portland, Oregon, which is a sister movement that seeks to create community down there on their streets and reimagine what the 27% of our public space can be, which is our streets, and how that can build community. So community is the foundational element of our society. It starts with a group of passionate people binding together to make their street, their neighborhood, their city, and their world a better place for everyone. And I see that reflected in all of you. When you study ecology, you learn that what makes an ecosystem strong and resilient is not necessarily the acts of any individual, although we are here tonight to celebrate all the amazingly strong volunteers and individuals who've made such a difference. But it's not only the individual, it's the connections between community members that really makes the difference and makes a strong and resilient ecosystem. It's all of you who have made this community strong. And I firmly believe we're on the edge of a big change here in Seattle. So I hope you will continue to be part of this community and to be a part of this coalition and to be part of this movement. And I'm really excited, and I hope you are as well. So thank you. And come have some beer.
So we can stay here a while longer and talk, I'm heading back to my house now. I want to entice you not only with beer, 2 kinds of beer that were donated, and I really need people there to drink it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have 21-year-olds in the house and I don't want them to drink at all. But we also have, a lot of you know my daughter's in the pastry program at Seattle Central, and we have 2 amazing cakes up at my house too. So if that isn't tempting, I don't know what it is. So I hope to see you all. It's just 4 blocks up that way, 1 block that way. So straight up to Corliss, go right, you're there. Okay? And thank you for all being on the Greenway and supporting Greenways and caring about your community. And we can do this together as a coalition. We have, and we will, and we'll continue to. Thank you.
That's okay.
My address is 441.